Hello there. Yes. Well, I don't know. It was a reasonable day yesterday, I suppose. I have to go back to work today, albeit for a few hours this afternoon, but that's going to swallow my entire day. Anyway, yes. I had an odd one yesterday. I was looking up Leo Curse, someone we hadn't heard for a long period of time from, and I discovered I'm blocked, which is very unusual because well, I have a Twitter account where I follow all these right-wing people, and I don't post anything at all. But for some reason, he's blocked me. Ooh, I'm going to have to dig away at that and see exactly what's going on there. It did intrigue me, that one. It's quite odd. Anyway, I thought I'd just sort of follow up on the Henry Jackson stuff that I was talking about yesterday, because we did get quite a lot of stuff in the news, particularly like Talk TV and GB News, The Express, various Israeli publications, the Mail, all kind of jumped up and down about it, as you would kind of expect them to. But it was quite strange to sort of see the way that no, it wasn't strange, it's perhaps inevitable, the way that it's picked up. I mean, for example, I had to smile at this yet. Julia Hartley-Brewer, a woman that knows everything about Israel and can't possibly be wrong, as I've often said before. And she decided to, sort of suggest, wasn't it dreadful that all these Muslims that aren't like us, and she had a chat with Sam Armstrong, and yeah, there he is. Sam Armstrong has a history of being well, as you can tell just by looking at him, he does look like an extra from the West Wing, and the reason for that is, of course, because he works for a variety of organisations very closely tied to, drumroll, groups like the Henry Jackson Society and others. I mean, he's that kind of works in anti-communist circles, shall we say. And of course, there we go. Was it a failure of counter-extremism? No, it's a failure of the British media in a large part, I would argue. If you're going to demonise people, they might well not have a very positive view of your message, Julia. Yes, we had Nigel Farage, of course, jumping up and down. The polling is the most conclusive proof yet that both the Labour and the Tories have allowed into our country huge numbers of people who live apart from the rest of us. Yes, indeed, the Australians are such a menace, aren't they? Swarming as they do around Earl's Court with their camper vans. Yeah, you need to be a certain age to know what I'm talking about there. Diversity in this context is a disaster. Yes, Nigel, it is, isn't it? Especially from someone like you. And the one that really got me, though, was Peter Whittle, yes, one of my other favourite ones, on Good Morning Britain on GB News, where he was complaining bitterly about the numbers of the Muslims that don't like the gays, because Soto Voice is one. Yes, and just the way that was presented, which is like a majority of Muslims don't like gay people and they aren't keen on it. However, if you do go to the actual info, and now Henry Jackson Society have actually put up various stuff on their website, but you can see that isn't exactly the case, because you have to massage the figures to get a majority. But I thought it was intriguing, someone like Peter Whittle, who falls into that enormous group of social commentators out there, the grifters, that are not very keen on any progressive values whatsoever. So, for example, if we're going to talk about church people that don't hold our views on same-sex attraction, how about Friar Calvin Robinson, who was perfectly acceptable as a mixed-race, blackish guy who could go on GB News, eventually ending up with his common sense crusade. Good use of the word there, crusade, because that has no historical connotations whatsoever. Well, Calvin doesn't mind, but yeah, it's intriguing to see the kind of high church stuff that he represents, which really doesn't like gay people like Peter. I wonder how they used to get on. I wonder what he used to say to Darren Grimes about sodomy, or sacramental sodomy, which is what he calls same-sex marriage in under the church. Yes, you mustn't have sacramental sodomy, but it's okay for Muslims to dislike it, or isn't it? No, it's bad if they do it, but it's okay if if the homophobia we're dealing with has a basically a kind of Western value to it. I guess that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah. If you do go to the Henry Jackson Society, they have got a couple of infographics up which are quite interesting because, like, for example, you can see here, right, okay, this notion about, the Muslims, they're really anti-gay, but look at the percentages of non-Muslim people predominantly, and the percentage of those that wouldn't mind seeing outlawing homosexuality or outlawing gay marriage. There's a reasonable chunk of them, and that's very largely your kind of evangelical wing of your Christians. Yeah, there's a hell of a lot of non-Muslim homophobes out there, but I guess that doesn't count because I'd just be massaging the figures, not like Peter. Peter has real concerns. I'm just being a shrill, frivolous type that I am. Yes, anyway, I suppose I better get on with some work. Do have a lovely day. Stay dry. I think it's gonna be wet. Enjoy.